Hey, Kirsten, do you need all the rest of these lights on? Do you need... Are you, okay, I'm going to leave on just specific ones because I'm going to do my live stream here. You guys go. Leave on weather desk, RP rates, multi-purpose. I think that's all we need. Hey, one viewer. I don't know who's out there yet, but good to see you. Hopefully the audio is working out on this good. Just got everything set up. I will be starting things up here in just a second. 2 people now. So I am posting on the Facebook pages right now that we are getting ready to start this. Hey guys, I'll be starting things up here in just a second, just posting on the pages right now on Facebook and Twitter that we are going live. So let a couple more people start showing up and we will start things up here in just a second. Copy. Link, paste, post. Couple more things and I should be good to go. Attach image. Hey guys, again, I'll be having things up and running here. See 2 of you guys on here so far. Just posting the links real quick for everyone else. Stop by. Photo, browse. 4 people. Hey, good to see you guys tonight. Andrew Michael here. I'm just posting links right now on Facebook and also Twitter. So I'll be answering a couple of the questions. A couple of people left me some from last week, and so I'll address those first, and then we will get things rolling. So again, thanks for everyone jumping on here. If you guys have any questions about the weather for the week ahead, whatever you have, send it to me, and we will get things rolling. Just posting the last picture here. Stop by and ask your question. Here's a link. All right, should be good to go. Retweet that. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so again, thanks for everyone jumping on here real quick. Get things started. Again, if you guys have any questions, I posted links on my Facebook and Twitter with links to the Ustream account, so that way you can ask your questions on there. I'll also be answering questions from the last one, which Rick asked, and also who's the other person asked? Kimberly asked another question. These are posted earlier in the week, and I said I would answer those first at 8:30 to get things started off. But again, hopefully you guys enjoyed the weather out there today. I know I did. The sunshine was beautiful. Yesterday was very similar temperatures to yesterday and today, but today, I'll tell you what, the sunshine and the fact that the winds weren't as strong really made it pretty nice. Speaking of the winds, that's what Rick's question was. He asked this back, what was this? Friday. He asked, what causes the winds? Well, the winds basically are caused by pressure, high and low pressure. You always hear us talk about whether we're going to have high pressure coming up, which is nice weather, low pressure where it's not so nice. Basically, if you think about it this way, high pressure, there's a high amount of air pushing, or high amount of pressure pushing down on something, so it's really pushing itself out. And when it does that, it's going to fan itself out from that. Low pressure allows for the air to rise. So that's why you see the taller clouds, you see the thunderstorm clouds. With low pressure, it tends to rise. So when you have the sinking air, like if this is high pressure pushing down, this is low pressure. So basically, you're going to get the winds to push from one location to the next. That's called the pressure gradient force, and it's the force of the winds moving from the high pressure to the low pressure. Then there's also a lot of other stuff, the Coriolis effect, which is the Earth spinning, and it wants to make the winds turn in different directions based off the hemisphere that you're in. But the basic gist of everything, winds are caused by the high and low pressure. So when you have high pressure coming in, the winds spin different directions with high and low pressure. Real quick, I'll show you a picture that I have saved. That way it kind of depicts it a little bit better for you, or shows you. Where'd that go? So I use this for my school talk sometimes. That's really blurry. So here, basically, I'll switch this around for you, switch the camera around. So high and low pressure, you can see the high pressure here, again, the sinking air coming down, and then around high pressure, the air will spin clockwise. Low pressure, when you see hurricanes, it spins the opposite. It spins counterclockwise, at least here in the northern hemisphere. So the winds will spin out around this, come back in, and then start rotating again. So then it goes back up into the upper atmosphere, restarts the whole cycle again, and it just is never ending. So that's basically the gist. Winds caused by pressure. The next question, this one was from Kimberly. Go back to the Facebook page real quick. She asked, what clouds indicate there is snow or rain on the way? Can you show pictures? Well, I have the pictures opened, and I know I used to know this in grade school, but have forgotten. So, let me see here. My cloud pictures. So I use this also when I do my school talks, and I'll flip this around and show you guys. 10 people. Hey, good to see you guys tonight. Again, Andrew Michael here. If you guys have any questions, post on Ustream. We'll get to those. So the different cloud types. The ones that I always talk about in the school talks are the ones that I circle here, because those are the main ones. Cumulus, just those puffy clouds, very similar to what we had seen today, and I'll show you that real quick on our time lapse. Let me show you that here. So that's what we had out there today, just some puffy cumulus clouds. Very fair weather clouds, nothing to worry about with those. Cumulonimbus, those are the huge thunderstorm clouds that we have. That's the cloud that my dad tried to get me to say at 3 years old. Took me about a week, but I got it. Nimbostratus is normally what we see with just showers. We'll see some of those as we head into Wednesday with rain on the way. Stratus is normally what we see with snow. So we'll get rain from nimbostratus and cumulonimbus. But stratus is normally what we see our snow with. It's those just very gray, flat-laying clouds. You can hardly even see it here because basically what it's depicted as. Cirrus clouds are those high, thin clouds, the wispy clouds. Those normally come ahead of a cold front or ahead of changes that are on the way. So those are the, in my opinion, if you have cumulus, cumulonimbus, stratus, cirrus, that's pretty much most of the weather that we see here, at least in Ohio. So good question from Kimberly. Check out the Ustream. Some questions on here. Eric, thanks for jumping on here. How are you, Andrew? And what is the snow? What about the snow contest? That's a good question, Eric. Last week I mentioned, which if any of you watched the other videos that are on the Ustream, I had mentioned the snow contest. I had pitched it to my boss. He has to make sure that everything gets cleared. So I will definitely keep you guys posted if I hear anything more. Right now, nothing has changed since Monday when we had the last conversation about this. But trust me, once and if it gets approved, I will post this on my Facebook page and Twitter and make sure you guys know, and I'll probably be talking about it on air because I think it'll be a lot of fun, because it'll open up the dialogue between you guys and me. A lot of fun stuff. Eric, how is Tuesday for trick or treat? Tuesday, if there are any trick or treating, right now Tuesday looks fantastic, calling for a high of 60 degrees. Partly cloudy later in the day. There might be some late day showers into late Tuesday night, but really I think that Tuesday will be fairly dry. Austin Wright, what colleges are best for studying weather? There's a handful of them, in my opinion. I haven't looked at it lately. The top colleges for weather, for meteorology, OU, or Oklahoma University, is normally, across a lot of people's boards, number one. Penn State is a great school for meteorology. Florida State offers a great program for meteorology. Ohio State, where I went to school, great program for meteorology. Actually, when I went there, geography was the highest ranked, when I went there, atmospheric science was housed underneath geography, and it was the highest ranked program at Ohio State that I knew of. What else is there? Michigan has a school for meteorology. Wisconsin, I forgot about Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a great school for meteorology. There's also Mississippi State University, depending on who you ask. I know their coursework varies a little bit because it allows some people that are already working in broadcast meteorology, maybe they don't have their degree in meteorology. It allows them to get a meteorology degree, not only there at Mississippi State, but also from abroad. You can actually do your schooling online. The coursework there is a little bit different. They don't require as many equations and as many math courses to take, but it's still a pretty good school as well. Eric asking questions, can I see the remote that you guys use for weather? Absolutely. So here's the remote that we use. We have smaller versions as well, but the transmitter and the big ones is better. So basically green is go. That's all you need to know. When you see the green, that's the one we use to advance to the next graphics. When we're at the green screen, we can actually use our hand. It'll track where our hand is in front of the screen, and we can use these other buttons to either add things while we're on the screen or take away while we're doing the broadcast. So this 4 buttons, that's all we need. And also when we're in front of the radar, we can also use these as well. So let's check out the Facebook pages, see if there's any questions. Again, if you guys have any questions, you're watching the Ustream. We have 11 people right now. You can jump on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Andrew Michael ABC6 Fox 28. I know that's kind of long. Andrew Michael ABC6 Fox 28. That's with the whole, if you want to type it all in, or you can just search Andrew Michael. On Twitter, my Twitter handle is AndrewWSYX6, and I will answer all of those questions that are coming in. Speaking of that, there was a question that I saw on Twitter. Jimmy B asking, what are the chances for severe weather on Halloween? Well, right now, it looks like Wednesday we're going to see a warm front come through here in central Ohio. I'm going to make things really warm. As a matter of fact, Wednesday, this is my forecast sheet that I make every single day. Wednesday, calling for a high of 65 right now, which is fairly warm. Our average right now is 61, so 4 degrees above normal. But Thursday, we're going to have a strong cold front come through later in the day, mainly into the evening hours on Thursday. And I think that our chances for severe weather are pretty good. Some strong winds. Even some people have talked about the possibility of some tornadoes. I don't think that that's a great possibility, especially if we're talking 5 days out from now. We'll keep an eye on it, but I think that the big main threat will be winds and hail. Flooding. We could have some flooding with that as we head into later in the day on Thursday. So again, for everyone else that's watching this, if you guys have any questions about the weather, about my job here, anything else, send me your questions. Again, Andrew WSYX on Twitter. You can post it here in the social stream on Ustream, or if you guys are on Facebook, I just posted a picture of me up. You guys can post your questions on there, and that's facebook.com/Andrew Michael ABC6 Fox 28. So we'll go back to Facebook real quick, refresh this, and see if there are any questions. Question from Nicholas Dunn. How's the storm for next week shaping up? We just kind of talked about that. Again, I think that late Thursday, the potential for some flooding and also some strong winds with that storm. So, cool. If anybody else has any questions, just fire away. I'm going to check the Ustream out right now. Is anyone of the team there that does the Fox 28 News there right now? They're all upstairs. They're in the newsroom because I'm actually down on the lower floor. But, yeah, we have some of the crew. James Jackson, who's doing a report tonight on a fire, he is upstairs editing together his story right now. There's Adam Arrow, the anchor. He's upstairs going through the stories. And then our producers are also upstairs in the newsroom right now. But they're all in a completely separate, different part of the building. So thanks for asking that. Another question here. So Joe Kleinert, this was down at the very bottom of the Ustream page. He asked, is heat lightning a false term? Normally people associate heat lightning, it really depends. People have their own definitions of it. Heat lightning, in all intents and purposes, does not exist. Lightning exists in thunderstorms where it's moving across the ground, there's friction building up within the storm, and then it has to discharge all of that built-up electrons up in the storm, and then it shoots that lightning bolt down to the surface. A lot of people think heat lightning is where they can see it, they don't hear the thunder. The reason you don't hear the thunder is because sometimes some of the thunderstorms that you can see way off in the distance can be 60, 70, sometimes even more than that, 100 miles off in the distance, but the thunderstorm gets so high up in the atmosphere that you're able to see that from a long way away. So there's no way that sound would travel that far to you, so that's normally what a lot of people associate heat lightning with. And then to tie into that, normally you get those huge thunderstorms to fire up in the summertime, and that's why it's so hot outside. You can see the thunderstorms a lot further away because you're getting those isolated storms to bubble up and fire off those thunderstorms. So heat lightning technically does not exist. It depends on what your definition is, though, of heat lightning. You can see lightning when it's hot outside, but it's not caused. Lightning is not caused directly because it's very hot outside. All right, so let's see what else we have going on here right now. Check Twitter. Nothing on Twitter. Ustream, if you guys have any questions, again, fire off your questions on there. Sydney Walters said, when did you first realize you wanted to become a meteorologist? That's a great question. I grew up in Western Ohio. My dad was a farmer. He tried to get me at 3 years old to say the word cumulonimbus. He went to school, actually, to Purdue for agricultural meteorology. So that's kind of how I first started liking it. I was like, I always love going outside, watching the thunderstorms roll in across the farm. Again, this was in Western Ohio. When I went on to junior high, I had a good friend, Jimmy Noe. He lived right down the street from me. We would get together. He had a video camera. We would make some fake newscasts. I have to do that. By the time we get to next Sunday, I'm going to try to find those newscasts. Maybe I'll show you guys a clip next Sunday. When I was in junior high, we made these fake forecasts. In high school, I did the announcements where I would do the weathercast. I'm pretty sure I don't have any of the weathercasts that I had in high school, although I wish I really would have kept some of those. And I always knew I just wanted to get into weather. I always got in trouble in school for talking, and the nice thing about weather is that it changes every single day, especially here in Ohio. So from doing the announcements in high school, I went to Ohio State for 4 years, got my degree in atmospheric science from there, and then from there I kind of bounced around Ohio. I was chief meteorologist in Lima for a year, and then I was in Dayton for 3 years for the morning meteorologist. Eric, great question. When do you work? Well, right now my schedule shift, it changes a lot. Since I'm kind of the weekend utility player, I'll bounce around a lot. I always work Saturday and Sunday nights, and then I fill in during the week. When I'm not filling in, I'll report. So the next couple of days I will be doing some reporting on the streets, doing whatever the other reporters do, general assignment reporting. So I kind of bounce around a lot. Whenever Bill Kelly's off or Marshall McPete's off or whenever Dana Turtle's off, then I'll fill in those roles to help fill out with that. And now that we also have Phil Kelly, not only Bill Kelly, but Phil Kelly on to do the weekend mornings, he's also kind of a guy that we can kind of move around, which Phil's a great guy. I love him. I'm really excited that we have him on our team now, officially. So let's see here. What else is going on Facebook and Twitter? Again, if you guys have any other questions, you can either post them here in the stream, in the Ustreams, the social stream, or Facebook or Twitter. Again, Facebook is facebook.com/Andrew Michael ABC6 Fox 28. There's a picture up there with the Ustream image. You can post it right there. Or on Twitter, Andrew WSYX6. I did this last week. Let me know how you guys are watching this. Are you guys watching this? It seemed like last week we had an iPhone, an iPad, a couple of computers. So I'm always interested, like, how are you guys watching this? So that way I kind of know what you guys are watching this with. All right, so on the social stream, another question here. What determines the size of snowflakes, ice pellets versus big, fluffy snowflakes, etc.? It's a great question. So with the ice pellets, some of us had seen some of these ice pellets last week. I'll try to block the light from you guys. So some of us had seen ice pellets last week, and what happens is we had temperatures right near the surface just above freezing. So I'll pull up an image here just to give you an idea. Temperatures lower, full. Okay, so for example, now this is would be the second, third. This is coming up for Saturday. So I'm going to flip the camera around for you real quick. All right, so here's what happens. These are temperatures. So the higher up this number goes, this is further into the atmosphere that we go. So anything below this red line, or it kind of probably looks pink for you guys, anything below or up here is all below freezing. These are all in Celsius. A lot of weather products are in Celsius. So you see here, as we head into next Saturday, it's going to get cold. Not as cold as what it has been, but there will probably be a couple of pockets down here where it's below freezing. So what happens when you have snow, even in summer thunderstorms, you have snow up within the storms. When it's falling, it stays as snow until it hits this pocket where it's above freezing. For all of this that we're seeing for these days, that will all stay rain because it has so much space, so much time to fall, it's all going to melt. Again, this is if we're seeing rain for the next week, which we're not going to. But again, as it falls through this warm air, it's going to melt from snow and slowly turn into rain. For here Saturday, if we were seeing anything, it would melt. Probably not all the way by the time it would hit the ground because it doesn't have enough time to melt. And then if there's little pockets of below freezing temperatures, like let's say this little hump right here is actually below zero, that's where we would actually start to see some of that ice pellets, because when the ice pellets start to fall, you get the snowflakes to melt, then it refreezes into those little ice pellets. So it wasn't really sleet that we were seeing last week. You were very right by saying ice pellets because it was the snowflakes melting, then it would refreeze. A lot of times we call that grapple, where you get the ice pellets or the snow once it thaws out, and then it refreezes. As far as the big snowflakes, normally we get the big snowflakes right when the temperatures are very close to freezing. So when temperatures are between about 28 to 32 degrees, sometimes you can get even a little bit warmer. Again, if it doesn't have time to melt, 33 or 34. But right in that temperature range is where you get the big snowflakes. Once you get so cold, they're not sticky. It's not that packable snow anymore because it's so cold. It's just straight ice that's falling, and so the snowflakes are a lot smaller. But when it's closer to freezing, it's that good packing snow because the temperature is a little bit warmer. Let's see if there are any other questions on here. Thanks for mentioning producers upstairs. Stuart just commented on that. He's one of the producers that's upstairs working for the 10 o'clock news. Dalton Burton saying, how long before the weather is actually here? Can you predict the weather like months, days? It's even since I've started, the weather's gotten extremely a lot more accurate, even looking at the 7-day forecast. Because what I like to do sometimes, since I had said I work Saturdays and Sundays, I like to look when I come in on Saturday, I like to look at my Sunday forecast from the week before to see how accurate I was on day 6 and 7, because I obviously care about the earlier days, but when you can start seeing day 6 and 7 become a lot more accurate, then you can really start to see things become a lot more accurate with time. And I've noticed that even since I've started forecasting just several years ago, as far as being on TV. So I think that as far as being very accurate, I know I just met with one of the guys that works up at Washington, D.C., that works with all the computer models. He was saying that they're wanting to come out with a new model. Instead of where it gives forecast for every 3 hours, it gives it in 3-hour increments. They're going to try to push that to do a 1-hour increment, which is something that the European and the Canadian models really don't do yet, is where it really fine-tunes the forecast hour by hour a lot more. So I think we will slowly start to get there, but as far as being extremely accurate, you still have some time, but for now we look at the computer models, and then it takes people like me, Bill Kelly, the rest of the First Warning Weather team here to really decipher looking at the models and then breaking it down rather than just looking at what a computer tells you. So Eric's saying he's watching from the iPad. Thanks, Eric, for letting me know what you were watching this on. Let's see here. Austin, how do you make forecast models graphics for each newscast? So I'll show you guys here. So when I come in, I always look at the forecast models, what they look at. So I'll flip it around here for you. So for example, a great website, and I went to Ohio State, but I have to give credit to Penn State. So this is their e-wall. This is crazy. There's a lot going on here. But just to show you, like, this is the 12Z model run. So this is from 8 a.m. this morning. So all these forecast models, they break down what's going on in the atmosphere. So this is as we go through time. And this is what we look at. So we can see where the low pressure systems are. This tells us the relative humidity in the air as far as the chances of it raining or not. This is the heights, and this is also relative humidity further up into the atmosphere, just to kind of show you the substance of the storm that's moving through or the next system. And then this is VORT. So basically you can look at how much the atmosphere is actually spinning along with the heights in the atmosphere. So these are all the forecast models that we really look at. You can break down the temperatures from each of these. There's a lot going on with all of this, but this is really what we look at, the bread and butter of how your forecast comes together. So there's a lot involved. There's a lot of schooling. I know there's a lot of people that have, private Facebook pages or whatever where they try to break it down. But honestly, there's a lot of schooling that goes into it. So I really take it serious, what I do. All right. Great question from Eric. What is the buck smile? And that was funny that you scared Carolyn, something like that. So the buck smile is basically I just have this huge smile. Instead of just smiling like that, I always do. I don't know. And then I said, it's always, life is too short to smile small. I don't know. It's just something I do. Just a big smile. Sydney asking, if you couldn't have been in the television/news business, what would you have done? I would probably do something along the lines of mechanical, whether it's working at a repair shop, something like that. I love to use my hands, love to build things, love to fix things. So that's what I would say. Second thing, I would probably do something with technology, social media. I love doing social media. Something like this that you really don't see from very many other people. I love doing something like this because this allows me to interact with you guys to interact with me. It's kind of a two-way street, and I think that's really cool that we can really connect a lot better with social media. All right, so we'll see what else is going on here on Facebook. Twitter's still quiet, but again, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. You guys can ask me on Twitter, Facebook, or the Ustream here, the social stream that's over on the right-hand side. On Twitter, my handle is AndrewWSYX6, and then on Facebook, it's facebook.com/AndrewMichael, ABC6Fox28, all one word. All right, so looks like we have another couple of questions here on Facebook right now. Yeah, what Nicholas said, going to be a lot of upset kids if I'm hearing is true, not 2 years in a row. So yeah, Joe, it looks like we are having a chance. Hold on, I'm going to type back and say, answering the questions about the storm in the live stream. And then I'll post the link real quick. All right, so yeah, Joe, it does look like we are going to have the chance for some storms later in the week, primarily Thursday into Thursday night, which I know is Halloween. So I mentioned last night in the forecast, if you guys can, go trick-or-treating, which yesterday I said tomorrow. You could go today because today was beautiful outside. I know there were some communities doing the trick-or-treating today. But for Thursday, I would keep a very close eye on it. Stay tuned this week for any changes. But right now it looks like Thursday into Thursday night, some strong to severe storms likely. With, I think, again, mainly winds and also some flooding possibility with some heavy rain. When will our next chance for snow be, from Earl Jones? Right now, we're not looking at a decent chance for snow for quite some time. Just to go through the future here and look what it does look like as far as cold temperatures. Skimming through here, and I'll even show you guys what I'm looking at. So looking here, this is just a general idea. See this black line? That's the freezing line. So as we go through time, I'll move this along here. Really doesn't look like snow for, not for quite some time. This goes out right now. This would be to the 12th of November. So doesn't look like anything all the way through then. There might be a couple of little cold snaps, as you see there. It looks like we might get close to freezing as we head into that 7th of November. But really doesn't look like any decent cold snaps anytime soon, because that right there, we may see a couple of flurries. And that would be on the 3rd, which would be next Sunday. But even then, I'm not super impressed with it. Right now, it looks like staying rain for quite some time. So for now, looks like rain for a little while at least. Check to see if we have any other questions going on right now. Check the Ustream. Thanks for the preview of the Buck Smile from Austin. You're welcome. Do you know how to fix my laptop mouse? Does not want to work. Sorry, I don't know. Mine works right now, but I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what the issue is with it, but the good thing is wireless mice are very cheap. You can buy a wireless mouse. I bought one for my laptop not too long ago for like $10. So pick one of those up. Eric asking, what is the weather for tomorrow? Tomorrow, 59 for the high, mostly sunny, beautiful, but again, we're tracking those storms for later in the week. What is the best moment you had in TV? Best moment I think I had, I was working in Dayton at the time, and I was reporting. There was a snowstorm, and I was reporting in Sydney, Ohio, which I lived there at the time. My wife worked in Lima, Ohio. I worked in Dayton. Sydney was right there in the middle. So I was out reporting. We had some strong winds. Winds were going about 30, 40 miles per hour. I don't know. When I was doing the report, I only said 20 miles an hour, but they were going much stronger. But anyways, I was out there reporting by myself. I didn't have a photographer. I was shooting the video of myself where I flipped the little camera around, and I was watching myself. And I was doing this hit saying, hey, you know, it's snowing out here. The drifts are about 5, 6 feet tall. I was driving my truck at the time with four-wheel drive around to do these reports. The wind was blowing so strong that at the very end of the report, I tried signing off and saying, hey, reporting here in Sydney, I'm Andrew Michael for Dayton's News Source, back to you guys. But the camera started to tip over as I was going, so it was slowly going like this. And I saw it going, so I grabbed it real quick, the tripod, put it back down, finished the hit. And that was actually on CNN, I believe, because they wanted to show that just all the crazy weather that the Midwest was dealing with. So that was probably one of my most memorable moments. I know the morning show, they thought that was hilarious. They played it over and over and over with me catching the camera and throwing it back up. So another question here from Austin Wright. I love storms. Gives me cool photography shots. Storms in New Lexington, time, etc. As far as time, it's still 5 days out. I say late Thursday into Thursday evening and overnight. Best time frame to see those storms. And that's not only for New Lexington. That's for a lot of other people. Sydney Walters asking, when I was 5, I was on the news and I met Lisa and she tried to explain something. I was so confused. Not sure what she tried to explain, but maybe you can ask me now. Now that you're a little bit older, we can try to explain it for you. But yeah, Lisa's great. Really miss Lisa. She's still just hanging out with her kids at home. She's loving life, so I'm happy that she's enjoying time with her kids right now, since she just had another one not too long ago. Kim saying she's an avid storm chaser from Southwest Pennsylvania, so we're going across the state border now, so hello to you, Kim. Your mouse might need to be cleaned. Take it down. Also, Austin's trying to help him answer some questions about his mouse. So we'll jump over to the Facebook page, check to see if there's anything going on there. Still nothing over there on Twitter, but again, if you guys have any questions, Twitter, it's AndrewWSYX6. Facebook, it's facebook.com/AndrewMichaelABC6 Fox28. Or you can just search Andrew Michael and then go from there. So it looks like that's it right now. I don't see any other new questions. Let me know if you guys have anything else in mind. Let's see. Another one here. What is your saying when you're done with broadcast? I guess you're assuming when I'm done with the newscast. I don't really have a saying normally. I give a little wave to anyone that's out there watching normally, but I don't have a saying when I finish the newscast normally. Nothing cheesy like stay classy, San Diego, or anything like that. Do you guys have a good idea? If there's a really good idea, maybe I'll start using one. So if you guys have a good idea for me to sign off my weathercast or whatever, send it in. Maybe I'll use that. Weather generally moves from east to west. Why do hurricanes seem to move from... Hold on, let me reread that. Weather generally moves from west to east, which is true here in the northern hemisphere. Why do hurricanes seem to move east to west? It's a great question. So let me pull up a useful site here. If you guys haven't heard of this, weather.unisys.com. I love the hurricane tracks and everything because you can really look at where the storms have went over the past couple of years, trying to find a good year, an example for you. All right, so 2011, we will use this year as an example. So these storms are actually going with the flow of the storms here at the equator. So when the storms are moving here, they actually flow this way. Same as like the ocean current. The ocean current flows this way, the Gulf Stream. So when the storms, they're coming in further down here. Once they start getting into the westerly winds, because the winds are going this direction down here, up here, they're going in this direction. So what happens is once they start getting into these winds that are going this way, it starts to turn them back out to the Atlantic. That's why they can kind of sneak in here. The further south they are, as you notice, the further south that these storms are, the further west that they can go. So as long as they stay down here, they can sneak up here a little bit better. For example, we'll go look at a different year for you. So 2010. Again, so you can see some of these northern storms, and there are exceptions to the rule, but when they start going too far north, the winds catch them and they spin back out to the Atlantic. So it's really these far southern ones that can kind of sneak in a little bit further than the rest of them. Look at one more year, 2009. So yeah, you can see these storms kind of churning back up. We'll look at 2008 real quick, because that was the year that we had the windstorm here in Ohio, which kind of petered out just a little bit. And you can see, again, there's Ike Forest. That was one that brought all the windstorm. It went up here, and then it kind of fizzled out. It's the hook. Ike starts here, goes up here, comes back down, and then it curves right there, and then it ends, because it technically wasn't a hurricane anymore or a tropical storm or depression, but it kind of petered out, and then that's when we got the windstorm once it kind of came back up. So, good question, and I'll flip this back around. I got 13 viewers again. If you guys have questions, let me know. Jump on the Facebook page, Twitter, or the Ustream here, and leave your questions. Hey, thanks for the shout-out. No problem, Kim. I'm going to refresh this page real quick, go back to the Facebook and also Twitter. Check to see those, see if there's anything else. Interesting crowd tonight. So yeah, cool. Getting some good comments from everybody, so thanks for everyone jumping on there. Refresh Facebook. Didn't want to go. All right, back to Ustream. Doesn't seem to be too many more questions. If you guys have any questions, again, shout out your questions. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know about you guys. I loved the fact that it was much more beautiful today. While I'm doing this, I'm going to take you guys around. I need to go get some more water. Say hi to Kirsten. Hello. She was in here cleaning the studio a little bit ago, and she runs our prompter. So whatever Adam's reading during the newscast, she's the one that runs that. She also runs the cameras. So a lot of people here behind the scenes. Getting my fill of some agua. Give you guys a little tour. So for anybody that was not here last week, I'll show you guys what the studio looks like real quick. So I'll spin this around. Yeah, so this is Studio A for us. You can see I just polished the floors actually last night. So you have the 3 cameras here. This is our jib camera, which gets the shots like that kind of pans around the studio. But so what the studio looks like. Most of the lights are off. I have some of the lights on in the Weather Center right now just to keep it lit for the live chat. Water. All right, so flip this around real quick. Put this back. So there's a 2-cent tour of the studio. See if there are any other questions. Yeah, I heard it. So Stu, the one that's on here, the producer, he just tried paging me over the building, probably to see if he can hear himself or not. All right, can you give a shout out for me right now? I don't know how to pronounce that first name. Jairo Martinez? Shout out? Sure. Hi, Jairo? I don't know if I pronounced that right, and I'm sorry if I did mispronounce it. Oh, what is exactly an Indian summer? This is from Dalton Burton. So Indian summer typically is when you have days you need a hard freeze, which we just did that. As a matter of fact, I think it was Friday night. No, it was Saturday morning. Saturday morning, National Weather Service from Wilmington, that's the office that has jurisdiction over Central Ohio. They said that the growing season is over. So someone also asked, what does it mean that the season's over? Well, it means that the growing season's over. When you have a hard freeze, the plants can't keep living. So, and that's when they issue these the freeze warnings and freeze watches to alert people, hey, if you have plants out there, you need to get them covered. So you need that first to happen for an Indian summer. After that, once you have a string of days above 70 degrees, that's what they call an Indian summer. It really depends on the definition of what you look at, but basically it's a string of 70-degree plus days that are beautiful, like today, but they would have to be 70-degree days with plenty of sunshine. So hopefully that clears that up. If the moon were a rack of ribs, would you eat it? From Stuart. I see they're working very hard upstairs. Sure, I like a rack of ribs. Hey, Andrew, have you ever chased in Ohio? I have, and a lot of thing with Midwest storm chasing is that there's a lot of trees. The roads normally aren't crisscross, nice and easy to drive around. When you get out to the plains, when you get out to Kansas and everywhere else, the roads, it really depends on which state you're in, but the road pattern is much better, because when you're in a completely crisscross, kind of like tic-tac-toe, when you're in a very straightforward road program, I guess. I can't think of a word to... When you're in an area where all the roads crisscross perfectly 90 degrees, you know you can drive 1 more mile, get to a crossroad, go up a mile, cut over a mile. It's a lot safer. When you're out here in Ohio where the roads go up and then, it's going to curve around a little bit, especially southern Ohio, that's where storm chasing is not nearly as fun, and it's a lot more dangerous because, A, you're trying to watch the road, trying to watch the storms. I have storm chased here in Ohio a little bit with my last station. I would go out and storm chase and give live reports from them while I was out chasing the storms. With me here, they utilize me in the studio a lot more. But, yep, I have. It's just not nearly as productive as what it is out in the plains. She tried to explain storm heights from Sydney. So basically when you have the thunderstorms blooming up, which I'll show you again, a picture of a cumulonimbus cloud here. So with cumulonimbus cloud storm heights, the higher that they get, the better chance that you'll have hail, because once the storm starts to grow, once the updraft, when the winds kick up through the storm, which I have a better picture. Let me find it here real quick. All right, so here we go. So when you have a thunderstorm like this, scale it down a little bit. When you have a thunderstorm like this, this is the updraft. So whenever there's a wall cloud or a tornado, that's associated with the updraft. So the wind's being pushed up into the storm. Then there's the downdraft, which comes down. You get the winds to kick out ahead of it. And that's when you normally get that cool outflow. If you're out in front of that storm, you notice there's that big gust of wind. That's with that cool outflow. So when you get hail, what happens is you have the storm to go up. The higher it gets, normally about 50,000 feet. It really just depends on the storm and everything. Hail will form once it gets up here, and then it gets pulled down with the downdraft as rain. And then it gets pulled back up, and there's normally a freezing level right about here. So for all intents and purposes, we'll just put that there. So when the hail goes up above that, it refreezes, thaws out, goes back up, refreezes, thaws out. And then once you do that, you keep adding layers to the ice and the hail, and that's how you eventually get those big hail balls to really start to form. But yeah, the higher the thunderstorm is, the larger the hail potentially is, because it has so much more height to go up, so much more time to refreeze. So really when you get those high storm clouds, that's when you can really start getting some really big thunderstorms that we normally see here. Normally here in Ohio, whoops, I apologize for that. Sorry. We see those, the big thunderstorms late spring and early summer. All right, so for all of you 11 viewers, let's see what else here. What social media do you use? Have you ever used Tout? I've heard of Tout, but I have not used it. And I believe Tout, there's a lot of videos and everything. No, I've not used Tout. I have heard of it. Normally I use Facebook, Twitter. And again, if you guys have any questions, post them on there. Andrew WSYX on Twitter. Facebook, it's facebook.com/Andrew Michael WSY, Facebook.com/Andrew Michael ABC6 Fox 28. And Instagram, I also use Vine, Ustream, obviously. So those are the main ones that I use. Jungle chasing, not. Yeah, totally, Kim. I know exactly what you mean. I just saw when I dropped the camera. There's a little bit of delay that I can see. All right, so let's see what else is going on. I'll refresh Facebook, see if there's anything on there. On Twitter, not much is going on there, other than the fact that Stu, my producer upstairs, is tweeting. Scroll down here to the bottom, see if there are any other questions. Doesn't look like it. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. I don't see any other new ones tonight. But again, thanks for everyone coming out to this. I see there's 11 people on here right now, so thanks for everyone coming by, checking out the stream tonight. If you guys have any questions, post them, let me know. We'll go till about 9:30. The only thing that I do ask is you don't post any spoilers to Walking Dead, because I'm going to watch that when I get home. Let's hear from... I saw a tweet. I've heard the fall foliage wasn't as impressive this year because of a drought last year. Is that true? And this is coming from Alex May. That's the first I've heard that the colors weren't as vibrant this year because of a drought last year. A lot of it has to do when that first frost hits, because it really helps to pop the colors a little bit more, rather than just the leaves slowly just dying. That's the first I've heard of it. It's kind of an interesting thought, because obviously the trees last year are still suffering a little bit from the drought that we had seen from last year. As far as this year, we had plenty of rain, both spring and summer. Plenty of rain. Let's see here. What else is going on? What did you need to do to get in the WSYX team? Well, Eric, I went to Ohio State, got my degree in meteorology. Everyone here has a degree in some field, a lot of them journalism, especially the reporters. All of the weather team had went to college for got their degrees in college. From then, you just need experience. Normally, they like you to start off in a smaller market, and then you work your way up. For me, I started off in Lima, as I had said, Lima, Ohio, which was market 186. The way TV markets are set up, the largest one is New York, which is market number 1. L.A., market number 2, the second largest television market in the country. Chicago's 3. And then from there, the list goes down. Columbus is market 32, so it's pretty high. Dayton, which is where I worked before, was market 62 when I was there. They kind of fluctuate in the low to mid 60s. And then Lima, like I said, where I first started off from college, was market 186. So you work your jobs there. You kind of learn some of the skill sets. You learn how to use the cameras, to edit video, to go out and report. And then you work your way up, get that experience, because the big thing that they want to do is they want to know that you have experience, that you're not coming straight out of college or straight out of school. They want to make sure that you have some chops, that you know what to do if you're ever put in a sticky situation. If there's a tornado or something, they want to see that you have some storm coverage on TV. So, good question. Let's see. I don't see any other questions on here. Go back, check out Facebook. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. Good live chat from Kim Twister. Can I have a follow back? So absolutely, yeah. You guys jump on Twitter or whatever, I will give you guys a follow back. So thanks for that, Kim Twister, for coming out and doing the live chat tonight. Anybody else has any questions, let me know. Again, Alex's question about the fall foliage. I'll have to look into that, if the fact that this year the fall colors weren't as impressive because of the drought from last year. It's an interesting concept. I never quite thought about it that way. I was up in Michigan 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing how much the different colors were there that they had up there, and they didn't suffer as big of a drought. So just off of that alone, it wouldn't be surprised. But I have noticed, especially since we had the frost and the cold temperatures the last couple of weeks, that some of the trees that hadn't changed yet, they really started to the last couple of weeks. So we're getting there. All right, refresh. Facebook page, see what's going on there, see if there are any new questions on the Facebook page. Let's see, we have a question from Earl Jones on there, and we will scroll down and check to see what that is. So the question from Earl Jones, what is a wall cloud? Great question. So I just had this picture up with thunderstorms. I will flip this around. With the thunderstorms, the updraft, those winds being pulled into the storm, you get a lot of the clouds to condense. When it's trying to pull that air so quick, it's just compressing that air, and you get clouds to form. So you see this cloud down here. This would basically look just like a circle hanging out of the cloud, and it's rotating very slowly. If that intensifies enough, you can actually get a funnel or a tornado to come out of that. The big question that a lot of people don't realize, a funnel is when it's still up in the air, but once it comes down and touches the ground, that's when it becomes a tornado. But the wall cloud would be this right there. It would be that cloud hanging down lower than the rest of the cloud, and normally it's rotating. Again, sometimes you'll see a little scud or little other small clouds hanging underneath of the thunderstorm. That is not the wall cloud. The scud normally hang out a little bit lower than the cloud, but depending on how you're looking at it, the scud could be hanging out below the cloud, but the way you're looking at it, like let's say this is the bottom of the cloud here. If the scud's hanging out and your angle that you're looking at it, it looks like it's still attached to it, but normally the scud are hanging below the cloud. So if the cloud was down here, the scud, the low-hanging clouds below the storm. A lot of people misinterpret those. We had a couple of calls this fall and spring, actually, spring, summer, and fall. It seemed like we had a couple of calls where people thought that the scud clouds were wall clouds, but there weren't. There was no rotation with them. So often confused, but, great to hear that we're actually seeing people out there letting us know what they're seeing. Real quick, while everyone's on here, we're getting more people. I want to know, again, how are you guys watching this? I've heard one person say they were watching it from an iPad today. I just kind of like to know if you guys are using your smartphones or your tablets, or if you guys are watching it on the computer. Rick's saying, great show, gotta go. Thanks for stopping by, Rick. What else do we have here? Austin, what social media do you use? Have you used Tout? Nope, not Tout. I already read that question. Take a drink of water. Sydney Walters, what is the strangest thing you've ever seen in weather? Probably the windstorm with Ike that we had here in Ohio back in 2008, which I believe was late September. And my professor at Ohio State, he actually did a whole study on it, because as I showed you there with the hurricane layer, and I'll flip this around for you, Ike, again, came from here, went up a little bit, and then it kind of spun out right over Arkansas, and it kept, if you keep tracking in the same direction, it slowly makes its way up toward Ohio a little bit. And I can actually scroll down to Ike and show that to you. Where's Ike? So here's Ike. You can see it kind of spinning out a little bit right over Arkansas, and it would keep moving up this way. So the strange thing was, I was working in Lima at the time. As I told you, I grew up in western Ohio. As I was driving back, that's when the windstorm really hit. Actually, before I left, we were building a barn and ripped off a lot of the tar paper, some of the roofing. And I had to drive back up to Lima, and the winds, boy, they were intense. And what a lot of it was is that when those storms move in, the energy from the storm is all the way up into the atmosphere. It's not just at the surface here. So when the storm's moving in, the surface kind of petered out and fell apart, but there's all of this wind and energy up in the upper atmosphere. And when it moved over Missouri and then its way towards the Ohio River Valley, what happened is we started noticing, and I believe, again, don't quote me on this, I've watched this presentation, but we started noticing little ripples in the clouds, and what it probably was all of this energy starting to try to just churn up, because it has to go somewhere. And that's what ended up coming down, and it just blasted into Ohio, and we saw those winds, some of those winds over 80 miles per hour with that windstorm that we had. Again, that was late September of 2008. So that was probably the strangest thing. I don't know if we will ever see that here in Ohio again, but that was probably the strangest weather phenomena that I've ever witnessed before. Use Wikipedia for the definition of a wall cloud. All right. PC here watching. Thanks, Kim. I'm watching from my computer, so it seems a couple computers, a couple smart tablets. So, again, thanks for everyone. Let me know how you guys are watching this, because it gives me a good idea of how to better push this across, whether it's over Facebook or Twitter or whatnot. Refresh this one more time. We'll check out Twitter. I want to know something about weather. Ask him now. So thanks for that, Alex, for that tweet. Shout out. Any other questions? Don't see any other questions right now. I'm going to refresh the Ustream page, see if there's any down at the bottom. But yeah, good times. I'm going to go till about 9:30, so about another 9 minutes. If you guys have any questions about the weather this week, whatever, feel free to ask. I still have to write my blog tonight. Let's see, any other comments here? Doesn't look like it. What is a wall cloud? And just so you guys know, the definition from Wikipedia is wall cloud is a large, localized, persistent, lowering cloud formation that develops beneath the base of a cumulonimbus cloud that often forms tornadoes. Tornadoes are actually formed from the wall cloud or underneath the wall cloud. The wall cloud is not a tornado. But normally it's a rain-free basin where you can see those, where it's not normally tucked in the rain. Sometimes we'll see those here in Ohio. Again, if you guys have any questions, Facebook or Twitter. Twitter, it's Andrew WSYX6. For everyone who's been watching the whole time, sorry I keep repeating these, but there's new people that jump on, so I want to make sure they know. But Andrew WSYX6, or on Facebook, it's facebook.com/AndrewMichaelABC6, Box 28, all one word, Andrew Michael ABC6, Box 28. Or you can just search Andrew Michael, and you'll probably find it on there. All right, so jump back over to Ustream, see if there are any other questions. Can you please sing the Fox song? Sorry, I'm not going to sing the Fox song, Eric, but I appreciate you asking. I'm playing in the MLG Columbus on November 22nd to the 24th. What are some good places to eat near the venue? I don't know. MLG Columbus. Let's see what MLG Columbus is. Major League Gaming. I don't know where this is. Let's see where it is. Major League Gaming, Columbus. Columbus. Location. I don't see... Oh, Columbus Greater Convention Center. So you'll be down in the Short North, the Arena District area. Some good places to eat in that neck of the woods. There's Canes, which Columbus is... There's a couple of Canes in Columbus. Some other good spots to eat. There's a Winking Lizard, which is basically Cleveland-ish area. What are some other good local places? On Lane Avenue, there's Tommy's Pizza. I always loved that when I was in school. Ooh, another good pizza place, Adriatico's. It's on 12th Avenue, which is up by Ohio State, which Convention Center in Ohio State. It's a very, very, very short drive. You don't even have to get on the highway. But Adriatico's Pizza, loved that. So that's really good stuff, especially like a local place that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. I love Adriatico's. And if you get the Buckeye Pizza, it's a huge pizza. It'll feed you for the entire weekend, very likely. All right, so let's see. Another new notification on Facebook. No other questions. Where can people catch your blog, Alex? Well, thanks for asking. My blog is, you can just search Buckosphere, so B-U-C-K, and instead of atmosphere, it's Buckosphere. Or you can just search Stuck in the Buckosphere, S-T-U-K-I-N-T-H-E. B-U-C or B-U-C-K-O-S-P-H-E-R. So Stuck in the Buckosphere, and I'll show you what it looks like so that way you guys can see. So that way, in case you're looking around the interwebs, you'll be able to see it. So that's what the blog looks like. There's a picture from my Ustream last time. If anybody wants to take a screen capture or whatever, or take a picture of how you're watching it, send it to me and I'll use it in the blog for tonight. You guys can post the link to it. But this is my blog. My cuff link, it broke again today. I fixed it last Sunday and it broke. Buckeye, my dog, was really sick last week, so he is much better now. My moped, I love my mopeds. And, yeah, so I write a lot about the weather on there and other stuff, so you guys can check that out again. It's called Stuck in the Buckosphere, B-U-C-K-O-S-P-H-E-R-E. So, yeah, pretty cool way. It's where I post a lot of my stuff, thoughts on the weather. And normally, especially when there's snowstorms coming up, I'll post on there on almost a daily basis. I thought there was one more question on here. Don't see it. All right, so we're going to go for a couple more minutes here. Watching on the laptop. I wish I was told to take other lightning rods. Oh. So, CI reader. Watching from a laptop. I was told to take old lightning rods off of my roof. Are they good or bad? It's a great question. Old lightning rods, likely bad. New lightning rods, good. The reason is because after time, they probably aren't actually keeping the lightning, because with lightning's lazy. So pretend this is your home, you have the lightning rod there. Flip it around. So you have a lightning rod up on top of your roof. Lightning is lazy. Lightning wants to hit the highest object possible. So when lightning comes down, it's going to hit this, and then normally the wiring would run around the outside of your building down into the ground. If the insulators are bad, so if the lightning hits this and it wants to go, it's lazy, it doesn't want to go around. If your insulators are bad, what's between your lightning rod and your home, it's going to go straight into your home, catch fire very likely. So old lightning bads, you can always check the insulators. I'm sure they probably sell new ones, but again, if it's an old one, it's not going to want to hit that and go around. Lightning's lazy. It's going to want to take the shortest possible route. So let's see here. Eric, I'm not going to sing the Fox song, but again, I appreciate you asking. Do you live near or far away from work? Near or far away from work. I live about 10 minutes away from work, so it's a pretty quick drive. Normally, I can run home real quick, grab dinner, and then come back. What advice do you have for a high school freshman that's interested in a weather career? The big thing I would say is be really good at computers, math, and science. Those are the big things, especially computers. Every career now, you need to be good at computers. And when you get into college, try to find a good college that has a good program. When you're there, do internships. I did an internship at Dayton when I was there. Worked at the TV station over the summer. I didn't get paid, but the time that I did learn there, I learned all the graphics. The computer system that we use here at work, which all these computers here behind me, that's where I learned how to use them, was at my internship. It was unpaid, but I learned a lot of stuff. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. I would just say do that. And then when you get out of college, whatever you want to do, if you want to work for the National Weather Service, a research group, whatever, just find whatever fits best for you, whether it's on TV, whether it's not. There's a lot of weather jobs that are not on TV. Eric, you can post it on my Facebook page, the picture, and I will use that. Austin wrote, I heard your producer Stuart is a big wrestling fan. Has he ever tried to body slam anyone? No, but he loves to take us. He always asks us, how big a boy are you? And he'll put us up on top of his shoulders, and then normally there's a picture to be taken with that. Eric, what is a lightning rod? Lightning rods are metal rods that are on top of the roof. I don't know why I held up my pen. Probably because used it as this. It's a metal rod that sticks out of the top of your roof. So if this was your home or wherever you live, your apartment complex, whatever, the lightning would hit this, and then there's a wire that goes around the building, but there's normally an insulator, some sort of material, whether it's rubber or something else. Glass is a good insulator, where it would bounce off of that and go through the wire around the house, so that way the lightning doesn't actually hit the house. Is it true zombies eat brains? I don't watch Walking Dead. Stuart? Some people believe that. We'll never know until there's an actual zombie. Get surge protectors. Great advice, Kim. I got shocked one time on my weather radio. Lightning hit too close to my house. Yeah, lightning is very dangerous. Even if you're just showering, you can be electrocuted. So, again, take lightning very serious. Lightning is a huge weather killer that a lot of people don't realize. So, take it serious. I'll take a couple more questions. I'm going to jump off of here. Got to get ready for the newscast. I thought there was one more on here. From Earl, 19 minutes. All right. Why hasn't there been much in the way of tropical activity this year? It's a great question. There's a lot of winds in the upper atmosphere across the ocean. When the winds are too strong, the storms can't build up. The winds just kind of, when the storms want to start growing up, the winds kind of just blow it over. What I can show you, though, real quick, because I had this up. I took it off, so we'll go back to 2013 for you just to show you that. Yeah, it's been. And granted, the hurricane season is not over yet, but look at this. Yeah, this is very quiet. So this is this year compared to last year. There's a lot more activity last year. Again, this is 2012, and then we'll go back to 2013. Yeah, pretty quiet. But a lot of it has to do, the waters have been not as warm, but the winds have been so strong that it's been keeping things from really developing a lot. All right, see if there's any other questions on here. Real quick. Jump down here to the bottom. I don't see any other questions. When was the last tornado? From Eric. The last tornado. Really depends on where you were. Storm reports, there were a couple tornadoes last week out in the plains. As far as here in our neck of the woods, we had a couple. It was just an EF0, very, very, very weak tornado up in Delaware County, and I believe that was in July that we had the last tornado, at least here in central Ohio. But that was a very weak 70, 80 mile per hour tornado, and that was up in Delaware County. So it's been quite a while for us. One final question that I did see here that I wanted to answer. Mike, I don't know if that's to me. Watch Walking Dead. I'm watching Walking Dead when I get off work tonight in 2.5 hours. The other question, how do I contact Skywarn in Southwest PA where I live? There's probably a National Skywarn page where they can help you get in contact with someone locally. If not, contact your local National Weather Service office. They'll be able to tell you the local Skywarns that Skywarn offices, so that way they can help you guys. Still a couple of questions, so I don't want to just leave these hanging. What type of winter are you expecting this year? Better or worse than last year? Last year was pretty average for us. I do think this year we're going to be a little bit wetter. We've seen a lot wetter of a spring and summer than what we had last year. I think that'll play out this year. If everything holds true of what we've been seeing, the pattern, I think we'll have some big snows. Probably 2 or 3 of them, some pretty significant snowfalls, at least here for Ohio. Do you think we'll have any more hurricanes? From Sidney Walters. I think there's a potential for them, but right now things are very quiet, especially in the Atlantic, so things are staying pretty quiet. And Kim posted those typhoons were wow. Yeah, definitely out in the Pacific. The typhoons this year have been very strong. Real quick, I want to thank everyone for coming out, checking out the live chat. Again, if you guys have any other questions, I will address those next Sunday. I'm going to do this every single Sunday at 8:30. So that way you guys can jump on here if you guys are free. answer or ask your questions. If you guys have any questions until then, post them to my Facebook which is facebook.com/Andrew Michael, ABC6 Fox 28, or on Twitter. My Twitter handle again is AndrewWSYX6, and I will answer those questions at 8:30 next Sunday right off the bat, so you guys can ask the questions then, or you can post it on the Facebook picture, and I will get to those next Sunday. So again, thanks for everyone coming out. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week, and I will be on the newscast tonight, Fox 28 News at 10 o'clock, and then on ABC6 at 11 with the look at the week ahead. It looks a lot prettier than this, I can guarantee it, because it's nice and pretty with all the graphics. So again, thanks for everyone checking out. Hopefully we'll see you guys tonight at 10 o'clock on Fox 28 or on ABC6.